Ha guys, let's get more news about Warriors, but first don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Warriors top trade target doesn't want to be traded. The Golden State Warriors have been heavily interested in Lauri Markkanen, a player who could potentially make them the favorites in the Western Conference. However, after months of interest, the Warriors and Utah Jazz have yet to come to an agreement on a package that makes sense for both sides. A potential issue as Markkanen can sign an extension as early as August 6. Tony Jones of The Athletic appeared on an episode of ESPN 700 and made it clear that on top of the difficulties already with this trade, Markkanen doesn't want to be traded. I would expect him to sign on August 7th or after August 6th. Lauri doesn't want to be traded, James said on July 29th. I expect him to do it after August 6th, so there's no trade talk this year. Don't even think him signing on August 6th is even an option. We're almost 100% trending towards him signing on August 7th, according to Jones. The Jazz and Markkanen have formed a relationship, and with the potential to extend him, they could have one of the top players in the NBA for the foreseeable future. Lord has really taken to Utah. His family has taken to Utah, James said. Obviously the Jazz can trade him between now and August 6th, and Lauri knows that, but Lauri has forged a really close relationship to Hardy, and Will has really found a way to unlock his career after finishing 10th in the Western Conference last season and losing in the playing game. The Golden State Warriors seemingly need to do something to better their roster. They landed Buddy Hield to Anthony Melton and Kyle Anderson, but without landing a star like Markkanen, it'll be tough for them to be one of the top teams in the Western Conference. Despite some of these worries, Warriors owner Joel Ercab told Tim Kawakami of The Athletic that the team is still trying to win championships. I think the window's probably longer than people give it credit for. He's in remarkable shape, Ercab said in July. I do not see some big slowdown from Steph here. In fact, I would argue he's one of the best players on the Olympic team. I don't see it closing anytime that soon. We all have to understand that Father Time is undefeated, and eventually that will be the case, but we don't look at it honestly like it's a window this year. It has to be this year. What can we do? All in. We're always trying to make our team as absolutely good as it can be because we are trying to win championships. His actions haven't necessarily reflected that, as he's been hesitant to trade some of the young talent on the Warriors roster. Kawakami asked Ercab if Brandon Podmski is the player the Warriors don't want to put in a trade package, saying he doesn't want to give him up. I'm not going to get into specifics like that. There's no way, Ercab said, but I don't want to give him up. Or JK, if the Golden State Warriors could find a deal for Markkanen that makes sense for both sides, and the holdup is Podsme, it could be the reason they do or don't win a championship. While Podziemski had an impressive rookie campaign, averaging 9.2 points, 5.8 rebounds and 3.7 assists, he'd still need to show a lot more to ever be a player like Markkanen, who averaged 23.2 points, 8.2 rebounds and shot 39.9% from three-point range on 9-0 attempts per game last season. Markkanen is also relatively young at 27, which would give the Warriors a chance to win now and give them a player they could lean on in the future. Draymond Green believes Klay Thompson deserves credit for resolving Warriors' salary cap situation. Draymond Green has shared a fresh perspective on Klay Thompson's departure from the Golden State Warriors this summer, giving the 133-year Warriors veteran credit for helping the Warriors figure out their salary cap situation by leaving the franchise. What Klay just did, and nobody will give him credit for this, is he just relieved this organization of the financial hardships that the organization was starting to face. He still did it for the organization, but nobody will say that. Nobody will say him leaving because they'll only make it about he was unhappy, which again he wasn't the happiest last year. He provided cap relief for this organization on his way out. You know what I'm saying? He got some picks sent back to the organization on his way out. Green's comments highlight a positive aspect of Klay's departure, but it can't be said that Klay left the Warriors with the intention to help the franchise manage their salary cap. Thompson did get contract extension offers as the Warriors tried to keep the veteran around, but he did leave the franchise because he was unhappy. The cap relief he provided by leaving is immaterial, as it mostly was an unintended consequence. Klay probably knew his leaving would provide cap relief to the Warriors, but to present it as a decision to help the Warriors just isn't something anyone would buy. The Warriors did a great job with the money on their books this offseason, adding the likes of D'Anthony Melton, Buddy Hield and Kyle Anderson for the price of Klay's departure. The Mavericks signed him for 3 years, $50 million. So it seems everyone involved has left the situation with a smile. One of the reasons everyone talks about Klay's departure from the Warriors stemming from his personal unhappiness is because Draymond extensively discussed that subject on his own, including on this episode of the Club 520 podcast. I'm happy he's gone because he wasn't happy anymore as a brother. I only want what's best for you, not what's best for me, not what's best for this team. We spent so much time around each other, and to see him unhappy the way I saw him unhappy last year, to see someone that does not have a single care in the world all of a sudden can't shake anything that bothered me. It was time. Clearly Klay's emotions drove the decision. Draymond is being a good teammate by giving Warriors fans a reason not to hold resentment toward Klay by mentioning the salary situation. No matter what Green says, it's clear that saving salary space for the Warriors wasn't what went through Klay's head when he chose to not only sign with the Mavericks, he wanted to be in a happy situation, which is why he avoided reigning with the Warriors or signing with the Lakers. Klay averaged 17.9 points, 3.3 rebounds and 2.3 assists last season for the Warriors. He'll hope that his fortunes turn around on the Mavericks as he looks to end his career with another championship. Lauri Markkanen, an update: state could shatter Golden State Warriors' chances of trade. Even as the NBA offseason has slowed down, there's still at least one big storyline that needs to find a resolution, and it revolves around whether the Utah Jazz will trade Lauri Markkanen or not. It seems that over the next week that will be decided. Utah is either going to sign Markkanen to an extension or they're going to trade him, and likely to the Golden State Warriors. While there is much unclear about the IR situation and how it will all end, Markkanen preferences reportedly to stay put. According to a recent report, if Markkanen has his way, he'd like to remain in Utah. He has found a nice home with the Jazz and doesn't appear to have much interest in changing that at the moment. Of course, the question is, how much will the Jazz take into consideration before making an ultimate decision? One of the bigger potential fallout storylines that would take center stage across the league revolves around what the Warriors' next step would be if they fail to land Markkanen via trade. It seems as if they have a ton of incentive to acquire Markkanen in their attempt to re-emerge next season as a championship contender in the Western Conference. However, if the Warriors aren't able to pull off the move, where does that leave them? Is there another move they would consider? With how their roster is built now, the Warriors aren't in a position where they're going to factor much in the West. The last thing the front office wants to do is waste the final years of Steph Curry's career. An argument could be made that's exactly what they'd be doing if they are unable to make a difference-making addition before the start of their 2024-25 season. While their Markkanen indecision massively impacts the Jazz and their future. The Warriors are similarly impacted by this potential move too. With roughly a week to make a decision, there is plenty for the Jazz to consider, at least for now. If they do take Markkanen's opinion into serious consideration, it doesn't appear as if a move is coming. A lot can change in a matter of a few days. However, if that does end up being the decision, there could be serious fallout in Utah and elsewhere. And you fans, what do you think of the situation of Lauri Markkanen? Leave your opinion in the comments.